Hello everyone, welcome to the Bodhi Academy. In today's video, we are going to continue with the 12th standard biology chapter 7, that is evolution. So let us begin. So evidences of evolution, that evolution of life forms has taken place on earth have many proofs. Okay, so the first one is paleontological proof, then second one is the homologous organs which are observed in the organisms, then analogous structures, then also the fourth one is the biochemical evidences. So in today's video we are going to learn about these four evidences of evolution of life forms. So the first one which we have is paleontological evidence. So different aged rock sediment contains fossils. So fossil, this word we have heard. So fossils are the remains of different organisms which existed back in the time, but those have those were buried when the rock sediments were being formed. So these fossils are also a proof that there occurred the evolution of different life forms. So different aged rock sediment contains fossils of different life forms that probably died during the formation of particular sediment. Okay, so these organisms they were buried in these sediments and they died. So fossils are remains of hard parts of life forms found in the rock. So these are the remains of those organisms, the hard structures which they had, which are present inside these rocks, or which are captured inside these rocks. So the study showed that different form varied over time and certain life forms are restricted to geological time span. So the studies showed that those organisms which are found in the fossils and those which are present on the earth in today's world, there were many differences between them, which proved that a long time there have taken up different changes, or the organisms have evolved through the time. So hence new forms of life have arisen at different times in history of the earth. So the second evidence is the homologous organs. So those organs that perform different function but have similar origin and structure are called as homologous organs. So they differ in function but have similar origin and structure. So for example, the forelimbs of human, cheetah, whales, bats, etc., all these have similar pattern of bones of the forelimbs. So they will also have the humerus, radius, ulna, then carpals, metacarpals. Okay, all these bones they will have the similar type. Okay, although these forelimbs perform different function in these animals. Okay, so the structure and origin of the organs is similar, but the function is different. For example, in human we use our forelimbs for doing any work. In cheetah it uses it for running. Then bats, it is modified so that it can fly using the wings. Then in whales it is used, or it is adapted to do the function of swimming. Then in these animals similar structures developed along different direction due to adaptation of different needs. Okay, so all these organisms had different needs. So according to those needs, the forelimbs of these organisms have adapted to their environment, and this is called as divergent evolution. Okay, so when similar structures or organs perform different function in different organisms, it is called as divergent evolution. Then talking about the analogous structure. So they are not anatomically similar but they perform the same function. Okay, so here in this case analogous structures mean they are not anatomically similar, means their inside structure, internal structure, the anatomy is not the same, but they perform the same function. For example, the wings of butterfly and wings of birds. Okay, so these two example, in these their structure, the anatomy is not the same, but they perform the same function, that is flying. Then for example, eyes of mammals, octopus, or flippers of penguins and dolphins. So these are other two examples. Now this is due to similar habitat that resulted in similar adaptive features in different groups of organisms. So due to the similar habitat or the living condition, different groups of organisms have developed similar adaptive features. And this type of evolution is called a convergent evolution. Okay, so convergent evolution is when the anatomical structure of organs is different but they perform the same function. So let us see the difference between divergent and convergent evolution. So divergent evolution, the development of different functional structures from a common ancestral form is called as divergent evolution, whereas the development of similar adaptive functional structure in unrelated groups of organisms is called as convergent evolution. So here the different functional structures are formed from the common ancestral form, meaning over here human, cheetah, bats, whales, all these are mammals. So they have a common ancestor, whereas over here the birds and the butterflies, they are not related. Okay, so they are unrelated groups which have similar adaptive functional structures. Then divergent evolution, homologous organs show divergent evolution and analogous organs show convergent evolution, whatever we have read just now. Then examples of divergent evolution, we have Darwin's finches, Australian marsupial, and the locomotion in mammals. So we have already seen this example, that is the locomotion in mammals. Then talking about convergent evolution examples, again we have Australian marsupials, the placental mammals, various aquatic vertebrates, and the wings of insect, bird, and bat. Okay, so even the wings of bats. Okay, so all these are different unrelated groups, but their structure, the wings have wings perform the same function, that is flying. Then talking about the homologous structures and the analogous structures. So homologous structures have similar anatomy, so their anatomical, the internal structure is similar. Then they perform dissimilar function. So even though their anatomy is similar, they perform different functions. Then they develop in related organisms, as we have seen the examples of all the mammals. Then they are inherited from a common ancestor. Since they are related, they will have a common ancestor. Then similar developmental pattern is there and similar structure and origin. So these homologous structures or organs will have similar structure or origin. Then talking about the analogous structure, so they are dissimilar in anatomy, that is the internal structure will differ. For example, the wings of butterfly and the wings of bird will not have same internal structure. There will be no bones in the wings of a butterfly. So then, but they perform the similar functions. Okay, both these wings will perform the same function. Then develop in unrelated animals, for example birds, bats, and butterflies or insects. Then not inherited from a common ancestor. Okay, so since they are unrelated, they will not have a common ancestor. Then developmental pattern is not similar, and they are dissimilar in structure and origin. So this is about the convergent and divergent evolution and the homologous and analogous organ. Then another evidence of evolution of life forms is the biochemical evidences. So similar properties, similarities in proteins and genes performing a given function among diverse organisms gives hint towards common ancestry. So when the proteins and genes perform same given function among various different organisms, this also gives us a hint about common ancestry. Then these biochemical similarities point to the same shared ancestry as similar structures among the diverse organisms. So as we can see, similar structures in among the diverse different organisms, even this biochemical similarity also point towards the shared ancestry, that is, even these organisms have a common ancestor. So this is all about the evidences of evolution. Thank you for watching my video. Please like, share and subscribe to the Bodhi Academy.